Hi, this is the 23rd of February 2009. I've been looking at the news and talking about thrillers. You don't really have to go to the movies anymore. If you want to watch a good thriller, you can just look at the news and you'll get goosebumps, and your heart will start pounding, and you'll even get some anxiety for looking at all the bad news. We have more troops going into Afghanistan. That was last week. But also American troops firing in Pakistan. That is escalating. Of course, we have what's going on in the EU with Gordon Brown going over to see Angela Merkel because the situation in the European Union is so dire. And Switzerland even threatening to repatriate gold that it has stored in the United States. It's getting to be that bad between the countries. We even have Soros and Volcker. I hope I say that right. Volcker saying that this is going to be worse than the Great Depression. I mean, these are astounding admissions from very reputable, or people in high places. I shouldn't say reputable. So it's bad news everywhere that you look. So we also have some information coming out of the Fed, bad data coming out of the Fed, which is concerning, because if they were acting and giving out these loans for emergency purposes, then you should see a little bit better data by now. But they're still in their emergency stance, I guess you would call that. So, and I really like Lew Rockwell's site and Peter Schiff. He's, people are wanting him to be senator. I hope he doesn't, because I think he does a better job where he's at. And Jim Rogers and Mark Faber, if I'm saying that right, and Mises Institute. Thank the Lord for them. I really like them, but I think there's a weak link there that I want to point out, and that is the danger for depending on man's ideas again to get us out of the situation and the chaos that relying on man got us into in the first place. So, it's man, all of us, that put people in these government situations, that allowed for more and more taxes so that these central governments can grow. It's man that allowed the Federal Reserve Bank to be in its situation, even though it was done sneakily. But still, it was some men getting together saying, we know how to make paradise or utopia for ourselves. So let's create this. And that is not God's government, to have these huge central governments. His institution is the family. And so that's where lesson number 4 comes in. If you have agreed with my first 3 lessons, which, seem kind of boring, to realize that man does not have the answer, well, you have to recognize that God is God, to then agree with the second lesson, which was to trust in God, and then the third lesson, to depend on God. That's what prayer is, to acknowledge that you depend on God. So the third lesson is about his family. And laws have definitely been legislated that create man's morality, not God's morality, that destroy the family. And you see where morality is getting us. Man's morality is all about tolerance and no restraints, no care for people's feelings, no care for people's property. And so legislating morality becomes very, very important. We have governments that, like the Ottoman Empire, that taxed trees. They were so desperate. And for money, they got to the point where they had to tax trees, which created, can you imagine what the people did? They went out and cut their trees. So a whole nation was cutting down their trees. This was environmentally damaging for that beautiful land. Then you have monks at the beginning of the Middle Ages that said, look, we need to leave this place a better place. We need to make something out of the world that God has given us. And they created dikes for Holland and turned a marshland into a land flowing with tulips. So we definitely need to set our gears differently and set our heart towards God and set our heart towards His institutions, which is the family. So what can we do now? Lesson 4 is, if you have children, homeschool. Teach your children yourselves. And if you don't have time to teach them yourselves, put them somewhere where you have 100% control of their curriculum. Because someone else will teach them. We were watching Into the West, which, you could talk about that movie, but one of the things at the end is that the Indian children were brought to Pennsylvania to be taught the white man's ways. It was astounding how it broke down the Indian family. Now, you can argue from the point of, okay, the ways of the Indians needed to change, but not without family. The family needs to do it. The family needs to teach their children themselves. So lesson number 4 is teach your children yourselves. I am not for coercion. God is not for coercion. He orders. He has put things in order, and He's not a buttercup, like Otto Scott said. But teach your children and strengthen your family by doing so, and it does. And I hope that you will realize that you need to teach them not your knowledge, but God's knowledge. And I will put up some links to His Word. And it's very easy to take a book, open it up, and start reading and teaching your children. Because I think it's a myth that that your children can't succeed unless they go to school and go to college. They can succeed with a strong family. And so lesson number 4 is teach your children. And teach them how to be good, kind, hard-working people. I can't do that for you. The government can't do that for you. They failed terribly. So that's lesson number 4 in this thrilling times. I'm not ignoring all the data out there. But first things first. Realize you don't have the answers. Trust in God. Pray. Teach your children. And I'll see you on the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.